Boys will be boys. Ep 5 coming at you.
Episode 5.
We're cracking off our 5th ep.
Breaking it off.
Ep 5 here. I'm gonna go ahead and do 5 episodes.
This is the 5th of 5 episodes.
Today we're recording. Okay, so we record these a little bit like out of sequence. Sometimes we do 2 at a time.
Is that cheating?
One time we did episode 4 and then realized that episode 3 audio got deleted, so we did episode 3 after episode 4, and
no one cares.
No one cares. So episode 5.
God damn it.
We had a viewer question. Well, we have lots of viewer questions, but we had an answer to the viewer question from like episode 2, and it was, or 1, and it was, drink an energy drink live
and give a review of it or something
for every episode. We don't want to, so we're not going to do that. Thanks, Mark. We also don't have an energy drink and are not looking to put any money into this.
And I have a headache, so
yeah, we spent the last like hour and a half at least trying to figure out new microphones and new systems.
Nothing is working.
And it was bad.
This has been a disaster. But
we do have engineer Julia here. Give us a shout. Woo! Julia was here helping us out. That's my woman, but this is Boys Will Be Boys, so you will remain silent from here on out.
Good job.
Good job.
Perfect.
She's not a boy. She will not be a boy. So boys will not be boys. But for us, boys will be boys.
Okay, good.
Correct.
Cool. So we got a pretty good show today. We have 2 guests, as usual.
Probably both boys.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Very misogynistic show we got here.
Yep. Self-proclaimed misogynistic podcast.
Julia, do you have any thoughts on that?
Nope.
You were supposed to be quiet. Anyway, so for those who haven't listened yet, because we gained so many new listeners per show, we're the 2 co-hosts. One of us will book a guest. One of us will book another guest.
And these guests are from my neighborhood that live on my street, because that is on our budget. We don't have the means to reach out of the zip code or necessarily my neighborhood for guests.
We did get country music star Luke Bryan once.
You know what? We did, but
that was a pretty good get for our 2nd episode.
That was a good get, but again, he did live on my street.
Yeah, so fair is fair.
We lucked out.
So today Brian is gonna go get his guest, and I will interview his guest.
This is a pretty good get as well. It's very topical. Politics are hot right now.
You know, that election coming in hot.
I know the one you're talking about.
The presidential one.
That's the one.
Woo!
Coming up next,
the Benghazi boys talking
Benghazi
politics. Whatever.
It's funny because boys have dicks.
All right, this is your co-host Tyler. I'm back here. Brian went to go get this next guest. He didn't return. Julia went with him. They were both carrying pills, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm assuming it was medicine. They're both feeling a little under the weather, but
you want to talk about healthcare?
So this is our next guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Blitz Liberty, and I am running for a presidency of this great United States.
Have you announced this before?
No.
Oh, Boys Will Be Boys exclusive. We have a presidential candidacy announcement.
You heard it here, folks.
All right, Blitz Liberty. This is kind of unfortunate. We're not a politics show. I don't know much about politics.
What am I doing here?
I don't care for them, but I'll do my best to keep up with you. So if you wanted to talk about healthcare, I know there's a lot going on with Obamacare right now.
I'd like to start on a different subject, if that's okay.
Okay.
Healthcare is not what my campaign...
Why don't you go ahead and just give us your general platform?
My general platform. You want to know what's wrong with America?
You don't have to pull the mic away from me.
I didn't pull I get what I want, sir. And if you have a problem with that, then you can leave my nation. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm not used to being talked to this way on my own show.
Most Americans aren't used to having a strict fist.
Would you say that your goal here is to
my goal
bring
is
your strict fist onto all Americans?
The campaign
strictly fisting Americans.
My campaign slogan that I'm running on is "Fisting the Nation."
Fisting the
Blitz Liberty 2016.
It kind of sounds like it should be fixing the nation.
No, it's Fisting the Nation 2016. Blitz Liberty. Mexicans are bad.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pull the mic back so that we can both use it.
I'm just gonna take it back on the next question.
Okay. For those who can't, well, for all listeners who can't see, I'm looking at the levels, and I can just see when I'm talking and when he's talking. The levels are jumping up real high. So
you know what else is going to jump real high? The economy after Blitz Liberty is in office. 2016, fisting America. Mexicans are bad.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a plan for the economy. Why don't you give us at least a little bit of a...
I have a detailed 64-step program to right the wrongs that this... Barack Hussein Obama has plagued our nation with.
I love how everybody emphasizes the second Hussein.
You know he's a Muslim, right? He has links to Al Qaeda. He was born in Iraq. How he got to be in the Oval Office is beyond me.
Okay, I'm just going to point out the elephant, like the GOP elephant in the room here. Because the elephant is the GOP's mascot.
Do you assume I'm running under the GOP?
You sound... I feel like this is a warranted...
I'll have you know, I have been a dedicated libertarian for all my life.
Okay, well, regardless, you're putting out a very similar a notion to what Donald Trump has been putting out. What Donald Trump?
Who's Donald Trump?
The GOP frontrunner at the moment.
Sounds like a slob. Slobbled Trump.
See, he calls people losers. You call people slobs. He hates immigrants. You hate immigrants.
He sounds like a great guy. Now that you mention him.
What sets you apart from him? I mean, the people who like that kind of stuff already have him to vote for.
Do you want to vote for a slob? Vote
you
for
just
Donald
said
Trump.
You liked him.
He said, don't get me wrong.
You heard it here first. Blitz says vote for Donald Trump.
Give me the mic. You know what, people? This is your wake-up call. Open your eyes. They're here. They are now. We need to build the walls that Donald Trump will not build.
So are you saying you want to build a border wall between us and Mexico?
No. Mexico. God damn it.
For those who cannot see, which is again all of you, he keeps knocking the mic over. So
was this mic made overseas?
Probably.
It's people like you that are ruining this country, one Taiwanese microphone stand at a time. And quite frankly, I am sick of this. Do you want change? Do you want an iron-fisted leader running your nation?
It doesn't sound like
then vote for me. Blitz Liberty 2016.
Okay.
Mexicans are bad.
Is that your unofficial slogan? You keep ending every sentence with that.
With what?
Mexicans are bad? Who
said... Are you saying Mexicans are bad?
I'm not saying that at all.
Healthcare.
Okay, let's talk healthcare. The Affordable Care Act has been making waves over the past, year since it's been enacted. What are your thoughts on it?
When these terrorists think they can come into our country with their shoe bombs, their pocket bombs, their M80s, and what have you, into our airports, our schools, our churches, do you hate Jesus Christ?
I have never said that and never will say that. That's not true.
I would hope not.
I feel like is this like a presidential debate and I'm being grilled? I'm supposed to be the one grilling you.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. Next question.
I feel like we're kind of skirting this Obamacare discussion.
Obamacare?
Yeah, the Affordable Care Act.
You want to hear my thoughts on the Affordable Barack Hussein Obamacare Act?
Yeah, kind of.
Fuck it.
Okay, we have an actual answer to the
That's
question.
my stance.
I don't know if that's a substantive stance, but it's more than I've gotten so far, so I'll take it. You heard it here first, folks. Blitz Liberty says fuck Obamacare. Is that correct?
2016, fisting the nation, Blitz Liberty. Now, moving on to one of my tentpole campaigning positions.
Okay, I'd appreciate if you'd let me kind of lead the discussion, but since you're going that way anyway.
I'd appreciate if you'd let me lead this country out of financial irresponsibility and electing Muslim African leaders.
Didn't you say he was born in Iraq?
Healthcare.
Iraq is not in Africa. I need you to know that.
Where did you go to school, son?
Right here in the good old US of A.
That's what I like to hear. Woo!
Okay. So you mentioned that you have a 64-step plan to fix the economy.
This is true.
I'm really curious, what's step 37?
Why step 37?
I just picked one at random.
Okay, well, the thing you need to know about step 37 is you can't get there without step 36. So I'm going to start with step 36, and by the end of my answer, we will have covered both step 36 and step 37 of fixing the economy.
So wouldn't that just be one step? And so
no,
I
I'm
have
going
a feeling
over
that there are not actually 64 steps to your plan. Anyway, 64 is way too many steps. It's too complicated, and it's going to take too long.
Look,
You gotta
I
get
have
each one of these
experience
things
in the
through
private
Congress.
sector
Don't talk over
economy.
me.
This is how debates work.
God damn it. Okay.
Step
Continue.
36. Meet every Jew in the country.
Okay, come on. This isn't that kind of show.
What kind of show? You asked me about my plan.
I'm not sure I want to hear you
I said
making anti-Semitic comments.
I said meet every Jew in the country. How is that?
Just based on what I've heard from you so far and how this conversation is going, I extrapolated and I didn't like where I got.
So you don't want to hear where step 37 goes then, I'm assuming.
You can save that for the televised debates.
Oh, it's not going to make it on TV either.
Okay. Have you oh yeah, you haven't this is the first announcement of your candidacy, so you haven't interviewed with anybody else.
Correct.
What would you say makes you qualified to run for president? Besides your iron fist for America.
Besides my fisting of the nation, have I mentioned I'm not a slob? I am not a loser. I will lead this nation to greatness. You want to send our jobs to China?
But do you have like a degree, or have you done anything?
A degree in freedom.
In the private sector? Have you been working in politics at all? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you.
I grew up in a rural, small town in the great state of Wyoming in the good old USA. I grew up as a farm boy, and now I am an American man, and I'm running for president. Take me seriously.
Okay. Usually the candidates who have like the grassroots kind of background end up being a lot less in your face. Would you care to comment on that discrepancy?
Look, if you want to stick up for the USA in the world we live in today, you gotta be mad. You gotta be in your face. And that's how it's gonna be if I'm president 2016.
Okay, it sounds like you have a lot of fire and passion, which is pretty kind of a shakeup.
I've been called a shakeup before.
Okay, we're talking to shake up liberty here. Shake up liberty about let's talk about gun control. That's a very
don't even get me started on gun control.
vitriolic debate.
I have 50 guns in my car.
You know, as a rural farmer, that does not surprise me. Are they all licensed guns?
No.
What?
Have you ever killed a man?
I haven't. Have you?
Well, you should.
I don't know if I like hearing that a presidential candidate
I did not endorse,
killing.
nor did I say I have killed a man. I just suggest doing so if you have not done so.
Have you? I'll straight up ask, have you killed a man or woman or child?
No comment.
Okay, I guess that's the best we're going to get out of that, so I'll move right on past that.
The Constitution allows for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to wield a gun.
Yes, as everyone knows, the Second Amendment, freedom to wield a gun.
Yes.
What are your other favorite amendments to the Constitution?
Amendment 22. One of my personal favorites.
I don't know what that one is.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect country, establish this 22nd Amendment, which allows us to carry butterfly knives inside of our jacket lapels.
First of all, I don't think any amendments start out with "we the people."
Have you read the Constitution, son? I know you're young.
It's been a long time.
You had to learn this in school.
I did have to read parts of it, and I still do have to read parts of it for school.
You must have missed Amendment 22.
Okay, so what is your career? What have you been doing your whole life?
Like I said, I was a farm boy in Wyoming, in the great state of this United States of America.
And now you're an American man.
And now I'm an American man.
But have you just been farming your whole life and you just decided to run for
No,
president?
I held a variety of jobs within the private sector, which gives me the experience necessary to lead this great country and fist it
good.
Fist it good.
So who would you think of the candidates that are currently announced would be your main competition for the?
Who do we got here? We got James Bush. We got Ben
Ghazi.
Confirmed.
Illuminati. If you're out there,
don't even get me started on the Illuminati.
Are you a member?
There is a secret society of high class, high educated, and high income music artists and politicians who will kidnap the young and brainwash them.
Music artists and politicians.
Everyone knows this is who makes up the Illuminati. They will kidnap you. They will show you Lady Gaga music videos, and they will brainwash your children to become communists, terrorists, and Mexicans. Wake up, people. They're here. Open your eyes. Fisting the nation.
2016.
Mexicans are bad.
So I'm going to move past the fact that you just said that Lady Gaga videos, the Illuminati uses Lady Gaga videos to
Lady
turn children
Gaga
into
is the
Mexicans.
Antichrist. You heard it here. Revelations 2:23. Fire and brimstone rains from the sky.
I think this might be the second or third time we've talked about Lady Gaga on this podcast, and neither Brian or I listens to Lady Gaga.
Her reach knows no bounds.
So you might have something there. She's just always coming up in conversation. She's a very influential person.
Few people know this, but did you know she has a tattoo?
I guess I didn't explicitly know,
Permanent
but it
ink
makes sense.
on the body. Is nothing sacred these days?
A lot of people, especially from my generation, are starting to believe that tattoos are not really something to stigmatize.
And people wonder why our country is going down the toilet.
Well, people from my generation aren't running the country yet. It's people from your generation that are running the country.
Let's talk about healthcare.
Okay, I'll go back to healthcare. If you don't like Obamacare, what is your proposed solution?
Don't get sick, people. It's not that hard to understand. You gotta cough, pop a pill.
But the point of healthcare is that some people can't afford to buy pills to pop.
Then let them die. That was the second choice for my slogan.
You think that Brian and Julia, who are popping pills outside right now, should just die?
If they don't get better, they die.
I thought you were Brian's neighbor and his friend.
Who's Brian?
The guy who booked you. He sent you up here.
Oh, I came here from Wyoming.
So nobody booked you?
Nobody booked me.
You just walked into an open door, sat down in
there
front
was
of a
one.
mic,
There was one of
and
those
announced your candidacy
blinking
for the
red
president of the
on
United
broadcast
States.
live radio broadcasting lights blinking, and I said, it's time to wake up, America.
So had you decided that you're going to run for president, or did you just sit down and in the heat of the moment you went, you know what, I'm announcing my run for president?
I originally sat down to talk about much different things, and then I decided to run for president.
What did you want to talk about before? I know we've talked about a lot of substantive issues, and this is just your first interview.
I came here to recruit for the Catholic Church up the street where I volunteer.
Okay, so you do have some volunteer experience. That's actually kind of surprising based on your personality, but...
Yes, I do. I was a Boy Scout for 17 years.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I think the cutoff is 18 years old.
They hired me back.
11.
That's how good I create jobs. I do not take them away. Build a wall.
So, do you mean you want like a wall separating us from other countries, or do you mean just like the Great Wall of China, how that's like a tourist attraction?
It could be both. I want a wall around both coasts to keep the terrorists. These have to be very high walls.
Just on the coasts, not on the northern or southern borders?
Oh, let me finish.
Okay.
We can't have planes flying in willy-nilly over our airspace. Dropping...
How else are we going to trade with other countries?
You don't need to trade when you got oil, baby.
But the only oil we have is like Alaska, and that's technically outside the continental United States. So we'd have to fly to get it in.
There are other ways to get to Alaska, my friend.
I'm poking holes in your plans left and right. Maybe
you want to know who's poking holes? Obama's poking holes in the American people's pockets. Those are the holes that I'm going to fill. I'm going to fist those holes. Blitz Liberty 2016.
Okay, I think it's about time to wrap it up. We've heard enough for Blitz Liberty. You know, Brian seems to get some pretty nice people. Like, occasionally he has to interview people who have different views from him. But I seem to end up with people who either want to murder me or are just straight up yelling at me.
You want a nice guy for president? Vote for Chuck E. Cheese. You want someone who's going to run this country, build walls, get rid of all foreign people? Vote for Blitz Liberty 2016. You want somebody to fist you?
What's your ethnic nationality? Are you just white?
My father is Cuban. My mother is black.
Okay. Now that we have that answer, I think it's time to let you go.
Don't forget to vote.
Yeah, rock the vote, guys. This is Blitz Liberty. Thanks for being here, and we'll be.
I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and signing off,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under Jesus Christ, our Savior, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, thank you.
For all.
Okay, thank you. We're out. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Boys will be boys here.
This is the 5th episode.
Cracking off Ep 5 here today.
How'd it go?
It was all right. It sort of turned into a political talk show here for a bit.
Oh, that's different.
We had a candidate for president announce his candidacy.
Another candidate for president, really. Yeah.
He did say that you did not book him. So I booked someone really interesting.
Did you?
Uh-huh. He's actually from like around the corner.
Oh, okay.
But it still counts as your street.
Oh, yeah,
it's the same street name.
It's a rounded street that curves.
Painting a picture for the listener.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go grab him.
Hey, wait. What's our hashtag?
Oh, daily or episodely hashtag.
Episodically.
Julia, do you have any ideas for the hashtag?
What are some good themes? What have the themes been so far?
Okay, so
we'll work
Julia
on the hashtag.
I've got. We're recording this before Christmas. This is the 23rd, but it's probably not going to come out for a couple days.
Yeah.
We've been singing a lot of Christmas carols.
We have. Maybe we'll have a music break later on.
It could be. You don't know. It could be some of the stuff we've been working on, but we've been referring to ourselves as the Joy Boys.
Yeah, it's our caroling duo.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and hashtag Joy Boys?
All right, I like that.
JOIBOYS.
No, it's JOIBOIS.
On twitter.com.
Hashtag #, which is hashtag.
For our older listeners. go ahead and hashtag Joel Boys. I'll be right back.
Oh, welcome back to Boys Will Be Boys, episode 5 of 5 so far. Ty went out to get the guest and sent him on in. As we now agreed, we are knowingly doing one-on-one interviews. So welcome to the show. This is episode 5.
Here I am. Pleasure to meet you, son. Great handshake. Firm grip. That's what I love to see in a young man.
Wow, I love it. The energy you're bringing to the show.
I'm very excited to be here.
I can see that. What's your name?
Jack Danver.
Jack Denver or Danver?
Danver.
Jack Danver.
With an E. Jack Danver.
Danver? Or Denver? Like it's the city?
It's like the city, but with an A.
But
Danver.
But you spell it with an E?
Sure.
Okay, Jack Danver is here.
Great to meet you, son.
Great to meet you, too. He has a very, very firm handshake. And I hear you're a pilot. Is that true?
Yeah, I flew in World War II.
Oh, wow. You're a war hero.
A hero is a bit of a subjective term.
Well,
but
it's not a term I throw around lightly, but if you flew in the war, I mean, you're a hero.
I did what I had to do. I saved my friends. And I had a grand adventure.
Did you really? I'm sure. What theater of war were you in? The Japanese stuff or the stuff in Europe?
I was stationed in South America.
In I hadn't heard of that part of the war. What were you doing down there?
Bombing Brazil.
You were bombing Brazil?
They've got those rainforests, and there's lots of crazy tigers and animals in there that pose a great threat to our nation.
Those animals are endangered.
They are now. You're goddamn right.
Jesus Christ. Wait, or what part of the military are you? Army, Air Force?
Air Force, flying airplanes.
And the United States government sent the Air Force to Brazil to bomb the tigers?
It's one of the lesser publicized missions, but yeah.
Was this a covert operation?
Nope. People were too busy with the Nazis.
I guess so. They weren't focusing on the rainforests. This is really interesting to me. That why did they send you over there to make these exotic animals extinct or endangered?
Son, you want panthers and cobras slithering up from the south while we're trying to fight the Japs on the west and the Germans on the east?
Times are better now. We don't use those terms anymore. I realize you're from a different time.
You don't use Germans to describe people from Germany?
Yeah, well, that one we still use. I was talking about the other one. But no, I guess I don't want cobras and panthers slithering up here, but it's a really long ways away. Why Brazil? I mean, there's dangerous animals in Canada and Mexico that are a lot closer.
Brazil has more rainforests, son, and it's all about the adventure of it.
I guess.
To fly my biplane down to Brazil, dropping napalm.
Did you? So you own your own biplane?
I mean, it's mine now.
Is this a plane that you were issued in the Air Force?
Yeah, but I kept it after the war.
So in World War II, they gave our Air Force propeller biplanes?
Not everybody got to keep theirs, but I kept mine.
They let you keep it?
Nope. I haven't been back in the United States for nigh on 50 years.
Okay, I want to be careful. Are you AWOL?
I was, but the statute of limitations is run, and I've lived my life above international waters on my airplane.
So in international airspace?
Sure.
I guess that's technically above international waters.
When I started doing it, I was really the only plane constantly going around, but now there's all these other planes in my way.
There's other soldiers who have gone AWOL and are just flying in circles?
No, there's like commercial airlines going all over the place.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the world now. People use air travel to go everywhere.
Yeah, so I kind of figured it was time to go home if they're taking up all the skies.
So where is home for you?
California.
Oh, locally.
I live on this street, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Canonically established.
That's right. We canonically established. I meant which house do you? I know you live around the corner, but what's your address?
45.
40. Really?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, so now I have a better idea in my head. This does not benefit our listeners at all, but just for me. So you've been spending the last 50 years flying in international airspace.
Well, I've landed and I've gone on several adventures. I'm really just out looking for adventure.
How old are you?
I was born in 1918.
Wow, 1918.
I'm not
so that would make you
very clear on what year it is right now.
It is the year 2015. So if you were born in 1918,
Oh, hot damn, son.
yeah,
I missed like 40 years in there.
right. So how old are you?
97?
Is that a question?
I'm a sprightly old man.
You
I
are.
like to take brisk walks at night to keep my health up.
You look great for your age. I have to say, you're in very, very good shape. Your hair is gray, but that is the only indication I'd have of your age. You have a soul patch, which I think does wonders for your youth.
I got really into just grunge music whenever that decade was.
Well, you lived through so many different eras of music and culture. It's hard to believe that none of those would stick with you. But let's get back to this adventure. You said you go on many adventures in the last 50 years flying your biplane. Standard issue apparently from the Air Force. What are some of the adventures you've gone on?
Well, after I left the Air Force,
What year was this when you left?
What year was it when the war ended? In
9, 8,
6, 7? Anyway, around there, I left. It took me about a year to get across the ocean.
What? It took you a year?
And I got to Egypt. And I decided, how am I going to make a living? So I stole a bunch of gold from these big triangles in the desert.
The pyramids?
Which I later found out were the pyramids.
Okay, yeah. 3-dimensional triangles.
Mm-hmm. And there were lots of booby traps.
You stole gold?
Gold.
Are these like
amulets?
Tombs? Are you raiding tombs?
I guess you could say I was a tomb raider for about a decade.
Oh, you did this for 10 years just around the pyramids? It sounds like an Indiana Jones movie.
There's a bunch of pyramids all over the place.
Well, there's 3. Well, I guess so. But in Egypt, the 3 are the main ones.
I would cycle back and forth between the 2, or the 3. And they keep refilling gold, and I just keep taking it.
So they just kept putting it back. And so you're breaking the law. You're stealing these ancient artifacts.
As I said, I'm a citizen of international airspace, so no country can call me in to be tried in front of a jury.
Is international airspace its own nation? Can you be a citizen?
I am the only citizen. I am the president, and I love it. It's a good way to avoid laws.
I'd say so. So you went to Egypt. You stole gold for 10 years. You raided tombs. Where did your adventures take you next?
So I left Cairo. Not really sure what to do.
1955-ish.
Mid-50s. And I was trying to figure out I need to see the world. The world, son.
Yeah, the world.
The world.
Okay.
So I flew up into the Scandinavian region.
Oh, wow.
And
different scenery.
Yeah, I wanted to change a pace.
Okay.
And you know what I did? I struck oil. I struck oil in Norway.
How? You struck oil? You mined oil by yourself?
Yeah, I rigged the propeller from my biplane to pump oil.
This is amazing.
I'm a wealthy man, son.
I would say so. So how long did you do this for?
About a decade.
Another 10. So do you do your adventures in 10-year blocks?
Yeah, I like cracking them off in like even numbers.
It's okay. It's easier to keep track of it in decade chunks.
During that time I was like, it would be easier when I'm telling this story as an old man to just have even 10-year chunks.
Much easier, just to keep the timeline straight. So you became very wealthy. Did you put your plane back together to continue your adventures, or how?
After that, I flew into Las Vegas, which is actually in America, but
That's a long flight.
Yeah.
Mid-60s now.
It was new. It had just been built.
It was Las Vegas built in the 60s?
Mid 50s, 60s.
Okay.
I funneled all of my money into it, helping build it.
Your oil money?
Got in with some not so savory folks.
Did you get involved with some loan sharks, maybe?
A lot of people don't know this. Al Capone was actually one of the major...
You met Al Capone?
Al Capone and Bugsy Malone were one of the two major funders that built Las Vegas. It was supposed to be a scam.
You know, I always heard there was a third funder.
It was me. Good old Jack Danver.
Oh my, you built Las Vegas.
That was me.
You and Capone and Bugsby?
Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy.
We got into a bit of a falling out because I didn't like the Luxor. I kept trying to rob it because I knew how they keep gold in the pyramids.
You're right. Oh my God.
They chased me and I flew my biplane.
Did you make out with any gold?
I didn't get any gold. I was destitute. I went back into the jungles of Brazil. I met an Amazon woman, had my children. That lasted about a decade.
Wait, okay, so we are now in the 70s?
Yeah.
And you flew to Brazil, you met an Amazonian woman and had children. How many?
4.
4 children in the forest of Brazil, which you had just...
The Amazon rainforest.
Which you had just bombed not 20 years ago.
They didn't know about all that.
They didn't know it was you.
Well, yeah.
I would think they knew their...
They didn't like my plane when I flew in at first. But it had been, 25, 30 years?
Well, I'm assuming it had all the markings of the United States Air Force on it, so they knew.
Most of that got covered in oil. My plane was just slick with oil.
The oil contraption.
I never cleaned my plane.
Okay. So this is an not old-timey to you. It's old-timey to me because I'm just a kid compared to you. But we're talking about a biplane.
Thanks, son. Great firm handshake.
Yeah, he just took my hand again. We've shaken hands.
That's what I love to see in a young man.
You really like to shake hands, and I appreciate that.
God damn, that handshake is firm.
All right, can you let go of my hand now? Please, ow.
All right,
okay,
son. Let's get on with the interview.
Thank you. Oh my God. Okay, so 70s. So you had kids? Did you settle down with this Amazonian woman
for about 10 years? And
10 years again. So
we're getting into the early 80s.
We're in the 80s now.
Headed down to Cuba.
Did you leave your family?
I headed down to Cuba.
So you left your family.
I was not proud to say this. I was funneling cocaine into Florida.
Oh.
Trying to make...
Most of your activities seem like...
I was trying to make a quick buck just to fund my adventures.
Okay. So
that lasted about 10 years. I became a bit of a kingpin.
Okay, now you're breezing all over a lot of big...
I don't think of that as an important part of my life.
You became a big kingpin, smuggling drugs from Cuba to Florida. I'm assuming this must have made you even more wealthy than you were before.
This was just a fund. This was kind of just a way station to fund the next big adventure of my life, which I consider to be the best adventure of my life.
So this is now the mid-90s, and we are now entering the best adventure of your life.
Correct. I was already an aged man.
A what man?
An aged man. I was old.
An aged. Okay. You were old. You were elderly.
Well, thanks for pointing it out, son. Well, that's not a polite company.
So this was, say it was 95. You would be about 77 years old?
Sure.
Okay.
So I got this hot tip from one of my old pilot buddies.
Okay. War buddy.
One of my war buddies. He told me that the Philosopher's Stone, which gave eternal life, was found
from Harry Potter
in the south of France. It's a real thing. God damn it. It was real.
Wait, when were the Harry Potter books written?
So,
okay.
I went to the south of France.
Okay.
Ancient temple. Way older than the French culture.
How old is French culture?
Like 200. years old.
200 years? I thought you were going to say decades. 200 years old, so this is older than that.
This was like 250 years old.
And you and your war buddy went to these...
It was ruins.
Ruins.
With booby traps.
More booby traps. Is
People
that common?
Yeah. It's common where I go, son.
What kind of booby traps were there? Have you ever been caught in one?
Let's just say my war buddy did not particularly enjoy the ruins.
Did he get caught in a booby trap?
He's still caught in that booby trap.
Oh, my God! How was he similar to your age?
Yeah.
Oh, so
he's dead.
Oh,
son.
He's dead. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's a firm handshake.
Oh,
God damn! I love that handshake.
What a strange time to shake my hand.
It just felt right.
I'm so sorry for your loss. We can stop shaking if that's okay.
Thank you, son.
Yeah.
So I make it through all these booby traps.
Right.
You got your standard issue poison darts.
Poison darts.
You got your...
Did you have was there like a giant boulder that rolled towards you that you had to...
Who would be there to set that up? That's ridiculous.
I don't know. It was just...
But we did have two big logs that were held up by wires. The wires got cut and they smashed in the middle.
Like end to end?
End to end, and that almost got me. I dropped my hat, but I had to pick it up. And it was in between, and I real quick picked it up.
This sounds a little familiar.
And from then on out, it was smooth sailing, as they say.
I guess so. So from the south of France, what was the next 10 years? Now we're in the mid 2000s. This must be one of your latest adventures.
Well, that was kind of an interesting part of my life. I flew into the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh my God, I've always been so fascinated with this.
Because I assumed with the eternal life that I had gained by taking control of the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, we did not mention that.
It was smooth sailing and I got it. We already talked about that.
Oh, that was implied. You have eternal life.
Firm handshake, son. Thank you.
Ow.
So I went to the Bermuda Triangle and I thought that the eternal life would kind of cancel out any bad luck.
Okay,
And,
so what do you think? What you were going to the Bermuda Triangle just to find bad luck to cancel out?
I wanted to see. It was just an adventure, you know what I say? So that was maybe early 2000s.
What happened?
I just woke up this morning.
What?
I don't know. That's the last thing I remember was flying.
Where'd you wake up?
In my bed, on 45.
Oh. So you flew in, you blacked out
for about
and you woke
15
up 15
years.
years later in your bed at 45.
I'll tell you, it was one hell of an adventure.
That sounds paranormal.
Dude, that's paranormal.
What? And so here we are.
Here we are, son.
So this has been probably the most entertaining guests and stories we've had on this show in the this is the 5th episode.
I'd like to confirm this is episode 5.
Thank
Woo!
Wow. Firm handshake yet again from Mr. Danver. I have to say, looking ahead as we wrap up, what does the future hold for Mr. Oh, what was your highest rank in the military?
You can just call me Mr. Danvers.
Mr. Danvers.
I've been dishonorably discharged a dozen times over.
Are you okay? So maybe we shouldn't be putting this out in case some people are looking for you.
Honestly, at this point, anyone can come get me if they want me.
You know who you kind of remind me of is the guy from Independence Day who flies a biplane and was a war hero.
I haven't seen that movie. Interesting thing for you to bring up.
He went out on an adventure.
Adventure!
Yeah. Ow. Another. Okay. Let go of my hand.
I just like
you
adventure.
Like a firm
I really
handshake.
like the word adventure. You know what I'm going to do now?
Oh.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to plan my next great adventure. And I think it'll be my last adventure.
Oh, your last adventure? You're retiring?
I'm 97 years old, son.
Yeah, I mean...
It's my time. I want to go out with a bang.
You got to know when to call it quits. So what are you thinking? Last adventure?
I don't know. I'll come back on here if you'll have me. I'll talk about my next great adventure, and then I'll be on my way.
I would love to have you back. I guess it's back to the drawing board to plan out your next.
I really
adventure.
got to come up with something good.
Maybe it will involve finding the Ark of the Covenant, or the Knights of the Last Crusade, or a Temple of Doom, perhaps.
I think the Temple of Doom sounds the most interesting of those three.
Really, because I thought the Crusade sounded the most fun. The Temple of Doom sounds kind of out of place when put next to the other ones.
I don't know. I think the Temple of Doom sounds dark and intriguing.
It does sound dark and intriguing, but it also just, I don't know. There's just something about the Temple of Doom that just doesn't do it for me.
Agree to disagree.
I guess so.
I'll get back to the drawing board, and I'll come and let you know my big plan for my great final adventure.
I would love to have you back. Everybody, this has been Jack Danvers, the adventure pilot.
And as I always say, off to the great beyond! Adventure!
Ow! Let go. Let go of my
That's a
hand.
good young man.
Oh, god damn.
Firm handshake.
And we're back.
Boys will be boys. We're finishing up Ep 5
Episode
here.
5, the fifth
Hashtag
episode.
Joy Boys.
Hashtag episode 5.
www.twitter.com.
Hashtag.
Joy Boys.
So I think I might have had my favorite interview so far. It was just this crazy old-timey pilot who just...
He's an interesting man. I met him briefly. He had a firm handshake.
I was going to say, like, death grip handshake. Like, my hands are bruised.
I think he's old enough where he's just trying to hold on to life.
Oh, maybe. So whenever he feels like young life, maybe he's trying to, like, absorb it or something.
Stuff to be... something to be delved into at a later date.
Something sinister is at play.
According to the theory of Chekhov's gun, if a gun is introduced in a play in Act 1, it must be used by Act 3. We introduced the gun of Joy Boys performing.
Oh.
Therefore, we would be going against
Chekhov's gun.
Theory. We'd be going against the established theorem of storytelling if we did not perform some Joy Boys.
Well, you know what time it is then. To play us out of our 5th episode, we have a very special first musical performance.
So we've been working on something pretty topical. I don't know when this episode's going to come out, but we did just see The Force Awakens. We've been on a Star Wars high, but it's also the holidays. So we're going to do a little holiday rendition of Duel of Fates.
A little mashup, maybe?
So without further ado...
Wait. We got to build the suspense. This is called Duel of Sleighs by the Joy Boys.
Here comes Santa Claus, 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 here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa.
Here comes Santa Claus, 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 here comes Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Here comes Santa Claus, 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 here